Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and today we're going to cover this 36 string kumi. Um, First off, in order to make a kumi this big, you have to have one of these discs. It's got 64 spaces. It makes it possible to do the high-end kumis. These are kind of necessary for projects like my big tube bracelet that was recently featured over on here on YouTube. Um, One of the key things that we do when we do our kumis is we tie the first two strings in a knot. And by doing this, it keeps it when you take it off the disc from unraveling when you get started on making your bracelet. This is a really key move. It really changed everything when it came to making the kumis, particularly for bracelets. If you're just going to make like a kumi bracelet, maybe you don't need to do that. You're just going to stick it in one of the little metal things or something. Not as necessary. Um, but yeah, again, when you're trying to set up your strings to get lined up the colors and stuff, having it stay where it is and not unravel, really super important. So now at this point, this is just like any other kumi. If you've ever done a kumi with the smaller discs or whatever, it's one string up and one string down. And to be honest, my wife does it differently than I do. I do one down, one up. And then, but she's got it the opposite. It doesn't matter. It's as long as you have the right strings going up and down and you rotate it, you'll be fine. I suppose if you were left-handed, you could rotate it the opposite direction. That probably wouldn't matter as long as you stay consistent with what you're doing. So, yeah, 36 strings is a bunch. Um, it's not something I do all the time, and we kind of thought it would be kind of good to cover it to kind of show you guys again. It's not difficult. It's just very, very time consuming. So, yeah. Um, the disc itself wasn't terribly expensive. I think we got it like on Amazon. I thought about carrying them in our shop, but there's just not enough demand and I would have to mark it up and I don't want to do that to you guys. Um, find it wherever you can, cheapest as possible. And yeah. What else can I tell you? Oh, so at the beginning there was the how she laid it out for the colors. Um, and then you can obviously see how the pattern itself turned out. We've got these great big kumi bobbins that we use, and that's what's actually holding the rest of the string underneath this thing. Um, but the pattern turned out really amazing. So if you're interested, if you're doing something like this, maybe you want to kind of follow it along. So yeah, a little bit of a jump there. Um, this is obviously further along in the whole process, and you can see the the string goes up, the next one comes down. It just it's it's incredibly repetitive, and it's again it's these are really kind of super easy. Um, she made a good sized loop for this, by the way. This will be perfect for the bracelet that I intend on making. So pretty excited about that. So it's come all the way around. This is, oh no. So she's going even further still. I thought this is where it ended. I, no. Um, so yeah, at some points you'll see, okay, oh, so every time you go around, it's either going to mix them up, right? So you had the reds on one side and purple on the other. It's either going to mix it up or put it back to being paired. So that's kind of a cool way to kind of see, mark your progress. Another thing is when it goes all the way around, like if your red started at the one, when it comes all the way around. Now that's fine for a lot of the smaller ones, but I don't think in the case of doing a 36 that you necessarily would go around that far. Again, you don't want your loops to be gigantic if you're just using this for a bracelet. If you're making a bracelet out of a kumi, right, that would be a different story. But yeah, this is actually something I just I can't express how much I really like these on my own bracelets. Honestly, it gives it such a fantastic kind of look, I think. I mean, you be the judge. You tell me what you think when you see the bracelets, when you see them made up. Um, and I don't want to gatekeep. I don't want to make it where I'm doing these really cool things for my patterns or for my bracelets and then not sharing it with you guys. So this is what I hope to achieve with this video, is to actually show you um, how we go about doing all of this. So yeah, this is kind of coming around here now. I think, again, I don't, if you hadn't figured it out, those are not my hands. Those are my wife's hands. Um, she's got way more patience with this. And if I do kumis after a long time, I tend to feel it kind of in my wrists and stuff and my shoulder. Um, it's just using different muscles that I'm not used to. She's obviously gotten super, super used to it. And yeah, that's kind of awesome. Okay, so now you can see, yeah, this is the end of it. She is going to, again, tie the knot. It's just a reef knot or a square knot. I guess that comes with different names depending on how it's used or whatever. But yeah, just a knot. And again, that's all about keeping it from coming unraveled. Um, see, that's all there is. And you want to make sure you put that in before you pull the strings off of there, because that would be really difficult to do after that. So, and then now she pulls all the strings off, and you can see it's not trying to come undone. If you've ever made a kumi and you didn't do that knot, you know that the minute you start pulling these strings, the last part starts to come a bit unraveled, and as you try to organize it to make a bracelet, it'll get worse and worse. Um, so yeah. And I'm not, to be honest, I don't even know if the professionals put the little knots in there. I have not seen it anywhere else before. It was just something that I told the wife to try and it worked. So there it is. It's really pretty, right? I really like how this turned out, and I think you will too. So yeah, give it a try. And as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.